What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So where is the Trump endorsement for the Senate race in Texas? I want to talk a little bit about this. So right now you have Cornyn and Paxton running in a runoff on the Republican side. Tallarico won on the Democratic side. So Tallarico is waiting to see who the nominee is going to be on the Republican side. But we haven't heard the president make an endorsement yet. Is he going to endorse Cornyn? And you have some of the experts out there right now that are thinking that he is leaning towards endorsing Cornyn, and Cornyn is the incumbent over Paxton. So we'll have to see what happens. But it's very interesting because we haven't heard the president endorse Cornyn. And there could be a lot of different reasons why he hasn't made that endorsement yet. But I want to show you a clip, and they're going to be discussing this Texas race, and they're going to be talking about, will the president endorse Cornyn, or will the president endorse anyone in this race? So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video. If you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this clip, and we'll talk about it as we watch it. Here we go.
Texas Senate, last night was the deadline for Cornyn or Paxton to get off the ballot. Neither of them did. So they'll both be on the ballot, but typically if you're on the ballot but you quit, you're not going to win. The president still hasn't endorsed. The negativity is starting. They're spending money, right? The whole point of trying to clear the field. Here's the New York Times headline: No Trump pick his deadline locks in Texas Senate Senate race. President decided not to weigh in before the deadline. There's a school of thought looking at the polling and at the opposition.
And this, I just want to stop really quickly and say this. That's very important, right? The president could have endorsed before this deadline. And if the president endorsed before the deadline, then whoever he, so let's say he endorsed Cornyn, then that would mean that Paxton would probably think twice about it because of the endorsement. Paxton would say, you know what, I don't even want to be on the ballot, so I'm going to go ahead and step down at this point. But the president didn't endorse. And so now you have both people on the ballot, Paxton and Cornyn. And so if the president really wanted to have an impact, the president would have endorsed Cornyn or Paxton. We don't know who the president is planning to endorse. But the reason that I'm saying it's leaning towards Cornyn is because there was a little rift between President Trump and Paxton just a few weeks ago. And a few weeks back, I don't think Trump had it in his plans to endorse Paxton. So that's interesting in itself. But why didn't the president put this endorsement out before the deadline? That's a question. Why even leave Paxton on this runoff ballot? Because now they're going to be spending a lot of money running against each other back and forth. And we know that Cornyn spent, just in the primary, Cornyn spent like $73 million. And so you could have saved the Republican Party a lot of money. You could have saved Cornyn a lot of money, because Cornyn, of course, let's say if it is Cornyn, then he's going to need money to run in the general. So you could have saved the Republican Party and Cornyn a lot of money by putting that endorsement out before this deadline. But for whatever reason, the president didn't do that.
Research that's already raining down on Tallarico that Paxton could beat Tallarico. So why should the president piss off the base and MAGA by endorsing Cornyn when they'll keep the seat anyway? That's a school of thought, and there's some evidence of that. And then there's a school of thought that says just get the incumbent in there and find something for Paxton to do. Find some excuse for him to quit the race. Larry, how's this going to end?
I think if that was going to happen, it would have happened. And so at this point, I don't think that endorsement is coming. And I've been an outlier here. I've been one of the people who have been an outlier since the day after the primary.
So the president, the president will engage in a rare flip flop and say, I said I was going to endorse, but I'm not. I left out one thing that the Paxton people argue, which is the base will be so demoralized if Cornyn gets a nomination through Trump's endorsement that they won't turn out, and that'll allow Tallarico to win. So that they argue that Paxton's actually a stronger general election candidate. The establishment doesn't.
Yeah, and I've said this, and when people are talking about Paxton, yes, Paxton has baggage, and I think Tallarico could beat both of them. So I disagree with what they're saying there as far as Paxton has, and I think Paxton can beat Tallarico. I think Tallarico is a new face, and I think Tallarico could beat both of them. But when you're looking at Paxton and Cornyn, I think they're in the same category, because Paxton, yes, he has baggage, so you're going to have people that aren't going to vote for him because of the baggage. But then Cornyn has lost support amongst Republicans, and some of these Republicans, I just think they're not going to show up. They're not going to vote. And so when it comes to Tallarico, and we've already seen on the Democratic side, you have a lot of Democrats that are energized. They're energized to vote. They're energized to vote for Tallarico. And so I think with the energy on the Democratic side, and when we look at the Republican side, you don't have a lot of, they're not energized at the same, at the same rate. And when you just look at the vote count in the primary, you saw more Democrats coming out to vote than Republicans. Now, that could have been because you had Jasmine Crockett and Tallarico running against each other. They were both candidates that people liked. And so that could have really energized the Democrats to get out and vote. But because you're not seeing that same energy on the Republican side, we could have seen that same energy, right? Because you have Cornyn running and you have Paxton running, two Republicans that are well known. You didn't see that same energy. You didn't see the same numbers. And so the bottom line is I think Cornyn and Paxton are going to it's going to be hard for them to beat Tallarico. I really feel that way.
And most importantly, President Trump takes great pride in his endorsements in primaries.
Yes.
Great pride in it. He talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
It would be horrible if he were to endorse Cornyn and then have Paxton beat Cornyn in this runoff. That would just be devastating.
For that reason, at this point, I've said this, I've sort of leaned into this a little bit, but now, based on my reporting, I feel strongly. I don't think he'll endorse unless they've got a way to get Paxton out of the race. I don't think he's going to endorse and then hope his candidate wins. Melissa, how do you see this ending, and where do you see Tallarico's ability to beat one or both Republicans?
Look, it's an uphill battle for Democrats. We haven't won statewide there in 30 years. So I think that the win for Democrats is making Republicans spend time and money there, which they're going to have to likely do in either scenario. But I think that Trump ends up sitting this one out. And I just feel bad for Cornyn that he had to write an op-ed flip-flopping himself when he doesn't like to do that. And then he's not going to get
Don't feel bad.
But
All right,
it is what it is.
So you both are saying, I believe, at least for the first time to my ears, that he's not going to endorse, correct?
Correct. And I don't think that's the first time.
I've been saying it from
Yeah.
That when the op-ed came out, we didn't think it was going to really move the needle.
Yeah. All right. I'm just going to, for the sake of bragging rights, I don't really believe it, but he's going to endorse. He's going to endorse Cornyn. Paxton's going to get out of the race and endorse, and Cornyn will win easily. That's my prediction, even though I don't believe it.
And so that last scenario there, I don't see that happening. Now, I mean, Paxton could get out of the race. And so let's say President Trump does endorse Cornyn, Paxton gets out of the race. I don't really think Paxton is going to endorse Cornyn. And Paxton voters, the reason why they're voting for Paxton, the main reason why they're voting for Paxton is because they don't like Cornyn. So even if Paxton was thinking about endorsing Cornyn, some of those voters, I would say a large number of those voters, are not going to vote for Cornyn. They're just not going to do it. And the main reason they're not going to do it is because they're going to say, you know what? The reason why I was voting for Paxton in the first place is because I didn't like Cornyn. I thought we needed someone new in there. And so why would they even entertain voting for Cornyn? And so I think if we do see that scenario where Cornyn gets the endorsement from President Trump and then Paxton steps aside and then endorses Cornyn, I think you're going to have a lot of voters that would have voted for Paxton just not show up. They're just not going to vote. And that still will be a huge problem for Republicans winning in the midterm election. I want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.